Have you ever bought a home or sold one and thought, what in the world is taking so long? I mean, seriously, you can buy a car in an afternoon, groceries in an hour, or buy furniture online in just minutes, but somehow real estate transactions can take 30, 45, even 60 days. And if you're in the middle of a transaction right now, you're probably wondering, what even are we waiting on? So today I want to pull back the curtain and explain exactly what's happening behind the scenes during a real estate transaction, because I promise you, when it feels quiet, there's still a lot going on. Most of the delays that frustrate buyers and sellers actually is there to protect them. You know what's funny is people think that the hard part about buying a house is finding the home. No, finding the house is actually the easy part. The real work starts after all the contracts are signed, and this is when the machine starts moving. Suddenly there are a lot more people involved, not just the buyer and seller anymore. Now we've got agents, title companies, lenders, inspectors, appraisers, insurance companies, HOA paperwork, survey companies, and every single one of these entities has a deadline, schedule, and responsibilities. So if you've ever felt like, why hasn't anybody called me in 3 days? I promise you, there are people working hard behind the scenes. One of the first things that happens is an inspection process. And this is where buyers suddenly go from, we found our dream house, to wait, what's wrong with this place? Because inspections uncover things. Sometimes they're small and sometimes they're expensive things. And look, almost every home has issues. Even brand new construction has issues. And I know people hate to hear this, but it's true. I always tell buyers the goal is not perfection, the goal is understanding what you're buying, because after the inspection there are conversations. Are repairs needed? Do we ask for seller concessions? Does the buyer still feel comfortable moving forward? Can both sides come to an agreement? And sometimes it takes a few days. And honestly, these few days can sometimes cost people tens of thousands of dollars or save them. Then comes something the buyers don't always think about, the appraisal, and that can feel frustrating, especially if a buyer already loves the property, because emotionally they're thinking, I already picked it, I already want it. But the bank's like, hold on, we're going to need to loan hundreds of thousands of dollars, so we need to make sure this thing is actually worth it. So now some independent person comes in to evaluate value, and sometimes everything goes smoothly. But then sometimes the value comes in lower and now we're negotiating again. And trust me, those conversations can get very interesting. Okay, and then there's the title work. This is the least sexiest part of real estate, but maybe one of the most important, because somebody has to make sure that the seller actually has the legal right to sell the property. You would be amazed at what title companies uncover. Stuff like old liens and boundary disputes, sometimes things that happened years and years ago that nobody even remembers. Can you imagine buying a house and then finding out later that there's like a legal issue attached to it? That's exactly why title exists. And if you're getting a loan, let's talk about underwriting, because this is where buyers start saying, why do they need another bank statement from me? Honestly, I get it. It can feel excessive, but lenders are trying to verify that everything still matches what they approved originally. And here's the part that buyers don't realize, is that you can actually mess up your financing during escrow by buying a car or opening new debt, moving money around, changing jobs, large unexplained deposits. These are things that I constantly coach my buyers through. So yes, real estate can feel slow. And yes, sometimes the people get frustrated. But most of the time what feels like waiting is actually protection. Protection from overpaying, protection from hidden issues, protection from title problems, protection from making a really expensive mistake. And trust me, after doing this for many years, I can tell you, you want the process done right, not just done fast, because once you close, there are no takebacks.